Welcome to the Deep Focus Podcast. It's Tuesday. You know what that means. It's time for hot or not. But first,
Five God on the beat.
welcome everyone on this beautiful Tuesday, May 11th. You know what that time is for hot or not. Super excited to share what's upcoming in the film industry. As always, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at the Deep Focus Pod. We are on YouTube at the Deep Focus Podcast. We are on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and what? That's right, y'all. We are on Apple Podcasts. Not sure what took so long for us to get on there. The link's been updated on our Instagram and Twitter page. So please check it out. Follow, subscribe, dislike, review, whatever. Any sort of feedback will be fantastic.
Did you just tell them to dislike it?
Dislike it. You know what? Because we cannot grow if everyone's
That's
giving
fair.
us the good news, right? I want to grow. This is a passion project, but at the same time, this is something that I have long term goals for. I know you do too, Murad. So it'd be awesome that if it could turn to something for the people by the people. As always, I'm your co-host Varun with my boy Murad. How's it going, man?
I'm good, man. Ramadan's been really messing me up this year, and my stomach
Yeah.
constantly hurts. So I'm glad that it's not hurting today, and so I'm not doubled over in pain. Which I never want to be doubled over in pain. So I'm excited to be here and not hurt. You know, how's it going with you?
Physically, didn't want to get hurt because emotionally, I know you're always now taking a bit of a beating from my side. So I don't apologize for it. I just want to recognize I know you do get a beating from me.
It's making you better. Yeah. Okay.
No, no, not at all. Not at all. I'm not trying to make you stronger. Like I want to beat you down, and then, we'll see what happens.
That's you know what that's called? That's called the coach method. And
The coach method.
if you haven't seen, I'm not sure if you still have seen Big Shot or not, but that's
I still
essentially
haven't seen it yet.
okay. Essentially,
No,
that's
I
his
still
method.
haven't seen it yet.
He's like we're gonna just go back down to basics, and I'm gonna build you up my way. And I thought that was pretty
There's a
cool.
few shows I still haven't caught up to that I was watching like on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
I finally finished Invincible. What an amazing season finale! I cannot wait for season two, season three.
Hmm.
The season finale was as bloody as I hoped, so that was fantastic. But I was watching Mighty Ducks. I was thoroughly enjoying that show
Hmm.
on Disney Plus, but that's something that I've taken a pause on. I did start watching a new cartoon show that I'm super excited to talk about. It's called Solar Opposites. Have you watched it?
I saw it on Disney Plus. I haven't clicked it yet.
It is so funny. It is so good. So this is if you have any fans of Rick and Morty, they are the same creators behind Rick and Morty. The voice of Rick in Rick and Morty is the main character in Solar Opposites. It is under the star section of Disney Plus, so it might be a little more on the adult side, not for young kids, but I really recommend it. It's really something about this family of aliens. Their planet blows up. They're looking for a new planet to live in, and there's that specific family landed on Earth. And it's just funny because the main character sounds like a grumpy dad, like how much he hates it on Earth, like he wants to leave. And the first episode really reels you in right away.
Okay.
So if you haven't watched Solar Opposites, please check it out. I highly recommend it. I guarantee you will love it if you love that sort of animation. We have Mythic Quest coming back. Season two is coming soon on Apple TV Plus. Again, another fantastic comedy show. Same people from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Do not compare the two because Always Sunny in Philadelphia is an amazing show, a very underrated
Untouched.
show.
Yeah.
Absolutely, it's fantastic and it's on the greatest run of any sort of sitcom or live at TV show of all time. But if you love that sort of comedy, it does dial into that a little bit. So I do recommend watching that. Hopefully I'm able to catch up on shows eventually.
Hmm.
It's usually when like NBA playoffs come to an end and then sort of like that dull season where like nothing's happening in the off season and NFL preseason hasn't started yet. That's why I usually catch up on all my TVs and all my movies at once.
Yeah.
That's why during the pandemic, I was able to catch up on so many different things.
I'm gonna let
Yeah.
every network know to bring out all the good shows for when the off seasons are, so you specifically can start watching them.
This is
You know.
why I started becoming a big fan of Big Brother because Big Brother was a competition, like this
Oh my.
competitive show that
Yeah.
happened in the off season. Like it happened in the summertime or June, where like in normal sports schedules, so the NHL and the NBA playoffs are to an end. You
Hmm.
know, it's the lull season between NFL draft and NFL preseason. Like nothing's happening in June really for the NFL, except for like voluntary camps, and it's nothing really happening. Then with
Well,
Big Brother that comes
just
out.
watch baseball.
I'm not a huge fan of baseball. Like I will watch
Mm.
it. I love playoff baseball. I will always watch playoff baseball. I feel like it's so intense. But a part of the reason I love football, for example, like
Hmm.
sport, basketball's my favorite sport for, and hockey. Also, I'm Canadian guys. Like I love hockey. I love the Vancouver Canucks, even through the dark and light times. But with baseball, with 160 game seasons, is very hard to get invested into the regular season because each game doesn't mean as much. Like it means a lot for sure, but like if you lose, like let's say you lose 10 straight games in baseball, you still have 150 games left in the regular season to sort of make up for it. Your season isn't over,
It's a lot
but
of
like
games.
right. So if like say it's football, let's say you lose 4 straight, that's a quarter of your season, right? Well, previous to this year, because next
Hmm.
season we're having a 17 game season. As previously we're doing 16 game seasons, but because a quarter of your season is gone, so a lot more games are on the line on a week to week basis. But like for baseball, I do watch in like end of August, September when playoff races are starting to heat up, and then the wild card rounds and that sort of stuff.
Playoff
Um,
baseball is. I'm not a huge sports guy. Everyone knows this, but anything
yeah.
in the playoffs, playoff basketball, I think is the most intense thing I've seen.
Okay.
Second only to, I would say, like playoff hockey. And I don't watch football much. I only really watch the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never really got into sports. But playoff anything is, oh, they're the heart and soul, and it's almost like it's written by like a TV writer, because they're like some, like that Kawhi Leonard shot. It's like I
Yeah.
would not have written that any better. You
See,
know.
I completely disagree. I know, guys, this is not a
I
sports
sorry.
podcast.
That's
But one quick thing I want to mention, I actually completely disagree when it comes to the most like entertaining intensity of playoff
okay.
sports. I think hockey is like number one,
Okay.
and then it's everything else. Because hockey is like the one true professional sport where any team can win at any given time. With basketball, if you have the best player on the court, there's a very high chance you're going to make it to the next round
That's
and
fair.
make it to the finals. If you have the best player in the conference, there's a very high chance you're going to make it to the finals. But then if you look at hockey, you have Connor McDavid in the Western Conference, right? Like it's you know what the franchise has been very disappointing based on the expectations we have for that team,
Hmm.
right? But then Sidney Crosby, like he's considered one of the greatest of all time. Alex Ovechkin, one of the greatest of all time. There's not a lock that they'll make it into even the second or third round every year. So the first round of an NHL playoffs is especially when fans do come back. I just don't think I think it's so unmatched. And when hockey playoffs round one is in, doesn't matter who is playing. Like I'm watching, I am all in.
Hmm.
That usually is for like all sports for me, but when it comes to hockey playoffs, there's something about it is a I don't know if it's the Canadian DNA in me. I don't know if it's because I love the dramatics of it, but that's our point, guys.
It's probably the
That's our
Canadian DNA, but now that we've lost like 100 viewers and 100 listeners, let's talk about
a hundred
movies.
a hundred listeners. Man, you're being optimistic. Thank you for the 31 subscribers. Hopefully, at least like five of you on YouTube, and we finally cracked 200 followers on Instagram. Like, what
Thank
up?
you.
Thank you
Yeah.
for the support. But let's dive into hot or not. Murad, I'll let you start off with us today.
Yeah, I want to start off with something that I found out about 2 days ago. It's a movie called My Policeman. I'm not sure if you know about it. I'm not sure if you've heard
No.
about it. Okay. So it's starring Harry Styles and Emma Corrin, and it's set to start producing this summer. It's essentially a story about a love triangle between a gay cop and a man he falls in love with, and a girl that he ends up marrying because, of course, it's the 1950s and it's in the UK,
Mm.
so you can't really be like, hey, I'm not a traditional heteronormative man, and to be okay with it. So it's a very complicated love triangle. We don't know who's cast as the third actor, but we know Harry Styles so far and Emma Corrin. And I like Harry Styles and I liked Emma Corrin in The Crown, so I think it's a good movie to me. And Harry Styles and some set photos came out, and he's looks like he's embraced the role really well, and he said that he's very excited about committing to that side of a character. And Emma Corrin said the same thing. She's really excited to dive into sort of the nuances of being married to someone who is not, for all intents and purposes, heteronormative. And so I'm excited to see what it looks like. Anything set in the 50s, I'm really a sucker for, whether it be good or bad. Bad in terms of like not the movie is bad, but like the subject topic is heavy, and it's something that shouldn't have happened. So anything to do with the 50s, I'm all in for. What about you?
Sorry, I'm just looking up Emma Corrin. Oh, so she played Princess Diana.
In The Crown.
That is cool.
Mm-hmm.
In The Crown, yeah, I haven't watched The Crown after season two. Not
Mm-hmm.
because I stopped liking it, it just got distracted with the other stuff.
That's
The
fair.
Crown is great, but uh, I, I'm gonna say not.
Okay, that's fine.
Just be. I'm gonna say not because I think the movie's gonna be bad or anything. It is not a movie that I'm sold on, at least at this time. Just because I don't know what I'm gonna get from Harry Styles in the performance. Emma Corrin, like
He was alright in Dunkirk.
from what if he was fine,
Yeah, you know.
right? Like he was fine,
He wasn't the best
right?
part,
Like
but he also
it's
wasn't the worst part, you know?
yeah, but that's
Like I'm excited to see what he can
great.
do. I'm hopefully I might be
Oh no,
hopelessly
absolutely.
optimistic. I don't know. Yeah.
I know I agree. Like no, I hope it's a great show. I'm a great movie,
Mm-hmm.
and it does live up to the story that it's trying to tell you. However, it's just a story that um, I feel like you need to captivate the audience to
That's
really
fair.
be invested into that story.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if Harry Styles can do that. Not because I'm doubting him, just I just generally just don't know.
That's fair.
So I will see closer to the release whether the movie turns out to be good or not. And his review and the performance. I'm sure I'll watch it eventually.
Mm-hmm.
It's just more of when I'll watch it. Whether I'll watch it like when it comes out, or I'm gonna watch it like a year and a half or 2 years later when it's on a streaming service.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, I got nothing else to watch. Let's give this a shot.
Okay.
But yeah, that's for me there. All right, so this is a bit of old news, but I'm surprised we actually haven't brought it up yet, and I do apologize for not even posting about this yet. But uh, the Flintstones. Did you hear about the Flintstones
No.
update?
No.
So the Flintstones will, from the Flintstones, there'll be a sequel series that's been created by Warner Brothers for Fox. It's called
Animated?
Bedrock. Animated, yes, animated. So the reason this news came out because Elizabeth Banks has been signed up to do the voice for a 20-year-old something Pebbles. That's really only the thing. That's the only thing that we've gotten so far from the information. So it's a sequel series. It is animated. I don't know if it's gonna be kid friendly or adult yet. If an article has come out clarifying that, like let us know. I couldn't find anything myself. But as of right now, the show is called Bedrock. Banks is playing like a 20-year-old Pebbles. Fred Flintstone's like near retirement or coming like about to retire from his job, and that's really all we know from it.
Mm-hmm.
But you and I have talked about the sequel series in the past. I obviously grew up loving the Flintstones. Some Flintstones obviously ripped off shows from the past, and also other shows have ripped off the Flintstones. You can even say it's shows like The Simpsons or things like that have sort of molded themselves to do very similar to that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As of right now, I am going to say not on this, just because Not because of the unknown. I just think it should be sort of left alone, right? I am excited they're not doing the whole Powerpuff thing. We're doing a live action dramatic series
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that'll turn to like a new Riverdale, and it was cute in the beginning, but then eventually, it's like, really, what the heck are we watching now? I'm out on this. I hope it does well because it is the Flintstones. I do have high expectations. And to me, like the Flintstones, like doing this is equivalent. Let's say if The Simpsons ended today and 20 years later they're doing a sequel series with everyone sort of all grown up and everything to do.
Hmm.
And I don't know how I feel about that. What's your take on that so far?
I'm out. I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm
I
getting
figured.
strange Riverdale vibes from this, and they really did that show terrible. Like you said, it started off fine. I was okay with it, and I was like, "Oh, this is kind of
Yeah,
quaint." But then it's like,
it was bad. Like it was bad, but
it
it was
was
fine. You know what I
bad.
mean? Yeah.
No, but it's like, why do you need to bring in like dark arts and like wizards and like, bro, you can calm down. Like I don't know why I have so much anger towards that show, but like because I grew up reading the Archie and Jughead comics and I really liked them. I enjoyed them, and then here they come and they're like, oh yeah, Dark Betty and Veronica. They all have secrets. Like you don't have to make everything like Degrassi. Degrassi already did that, bro. So yeah, I'm getting strange. I'm getting strange Riverdale vibes. Don't
Hmm.
like it. Gives me the heebie-jeebies. Uh,
Yeah.
if the Hanna Barbera, if the Hanna Barbera production studio is behind it, okay. But if the animation is coming, because one of the draws that I liked about the Flintstones was the animation, right?
Absolutely.
And if the
Yeah.
animation isn't on point, then it's going to be terrible, right? No matter how good the cast is, and it was Flintstones and the Jetsons that I really grew up watching. So if anyone does anything with the Jetsons, I'm out for that as well. So just leave those in the past. They were amazing shows, and they were revolutionary, especially for animation, because Hanna Barbera really took off after Disney really started doing their thing, right? So yeah, just leave them alone.
And it's not like you can't make a good live action from the Flintstones. It's
Hmm.
done before. I enjoyed. There's been two versions of it. The second one doesn't exist in my mind really so much, but the first one, it was John Goodman, Halle Berry, Rosie O'Donnell. Like that was a well casted film. Like it has some big John Goodman, and Halle Berry. They're not some slumps, right? So they've had some strong talent in that, and I thought it was really awesome. I've seen it so many times. Um, Going back to what you're saying about Riverdale, the part of it, so I'm not defending Riverdale. Like it's gone off the hinges. It's
Yeah,
garbage
it's
now.
yeah.
It was bad trash. Like it was trashy. It was fine at the beginning, but the reason is I think the reason they started doing the dark art stuff and things like that because they're trying to do a whole Sabrina crossover because they existed in the same
Oh,
universe.
that's
Like Sabrina
right.
Teenage Witch. So I think that's why they did that. Not defending it. No, it's still trash. Like I don't recommend to watch that show for anybody. but I think that's the
It
purpose
is
of.
addictive, I will say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
I
it's like,
yeah.
oh, it's so bad, but I kind of want to watch it,
I'm
and
I'm
then
out.
no, but like after the second season, I was like, I can't. Like this is entirely too much, and I
Oh
invested
man,
too much time into
I'm
that show.
I made it to season 3. I'm like I
Oh
can't do this
wow.
anymore. This is so bad. I tried really hard to,
Yeah.
especially being a local production like it is
Yeah.
from Vancouver. So being especially that I try to support it as much as I can, but I'm out. Like I'm just, unimpressed by that series. Unimpressed by this new Flintstone anime series coming out. But well, hopefully it does well. What about you, man? What's next?
This is an HBO show that I was interested in because I liked the story. It's called Our Flag Means Death, and it's a show on Blackbeard, and I've always really enjoyed
I've heard
pirate
about
stories.
this. Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah,
looks cool, and they cast Reese Darby, and they also now casted Taika Waititi to play Blackbeard, and I'm
yeah.
excited for this. And I hope HBO gives this some good attention. And now that they've already kind of messed up Westworld, I if their attention goes towards this, I'm okay with it. Some people might really enjoy Westworld. I just think you don't need to complicate things just to complicate it. You're not Christopher Nolan. You don't have to. So yeah, I hope
Christopher Nolan doesn't have to complicate things either. Just want to throw that out there.
I know, but he does. And like I expect it from Christopher Nolan. You know, like if at this point I watch a Christopher Nolan movie and I understand point A to point B, I will DM him and say, "Hey, what's going on, bro? Are you okay? Do you need a hug?" But I hope HBO gives this show some good attention because it could be really really cool.
I want to make one thing clear. I don't think Westworld was good ever.
Oh, okay.
Like I was
Yeah.
not like I watched the first episode. I'm like, this is not good. I watched the second episode. I'm like, this is still not good, but it's better than what I kept watching. I was watching the entire season of season one, and I've never been so unimpressed by a popular TV show before. That being said, question about the does this Blackbeard show? Is it going to be like a comedic version of it, or is it a dramatic series?
Dramatic.
Dramatic series. Okay, so you know what? No, Taikiki is in it, so I'm in on him. Like as a director, as an actor, as a performer, as an artist, everything he's done so far, I've been sold on. I love Pirates related stuff, right? Like I still think Pirates of the Caribbean is the last good Johnny Depp movie, the first one. I still rewatched that. I think it's a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think the whole idea of pirates in general, I think it's a really cool idea, and unique idea. It is hard to pull off because it's really based on what you think a pirate is. Like really, because are they really evil? Are they good? Are they bad?
Mm-hmm.
This is such a broad thing of a pirate. So I'm really curious where this goes. So I'm in. I'm hot.
Cool. What do you
Uh,
got for us?
um. All right, Matt. So these pictures came out very recently. Is Hulu has a new show that's coming out. Hulu is a an American streaming service. So I don't know if it's coming where in Canada this will be coming, but is a Tommy Lee and Pam Anderson biopic. So I'm actually very new to this. I had no idea this was happening. So what? First of all, so Tommy Lee is being played by Sebastian Stan, and Pamela Anderson is played by Lily James, who looks completely
I did
unrecognizable.
not rec. Yeah, it was weird.
So when I first saw the picture, I thought I'm like, okay, that's Sebastian Stan. I kind of can tell, but like it was hard to tell. But okay, that's him. But I'm like, who's that? Like I had no idea who that was. Uh, like it's a complete recognize. I'm like couldn't recognize her. So yeah, Lily James, Stan are both playing Tommy Lee and Pamela Anderson. It's a biopic, and from that, I believe what I've read so far about it, it will be a series. I can't remember exactly. I do apologize for not getting this fact down, but it is about their infamous sex tape that they filmed while on their honeymoon. And from what I understand, it's a lighter take on it, so it's not gonna be like a very serious side of it, but might have some sort of a comedic side to it. So it's gonna be very lighthearted type of series or movie. But I'm excited about it just because of who's in it. Of course I'm excited about the story because like this whole thing came out when I was like a young boy turning into a man around that time.
Where are you going with this?
That's it. That's all. That's
Okay,
all. That's all I'm mentioning. Just that's
good
it.
stuff.
But yeah, you know what I mean. Like that came out during that time. I believe it was very famous, like in 98 and 99. So when I was like finishing elementary school, like going from grade 7 instead of grade 8, right? So I'm like, at that time I was 12 to 13 age. So I'm hot on this. I'm excited, because of the cast, because of Hulu. Like they've done some good stuff in the past. I'm very excited for that too. So I'm hot.
Yeah, I am too. I've always wanted to know a little bit more about the story. Around 97, 98, I had just sort of freshly popped out of the womb, so I was just trying to gather my bearings in life, and not trying to say, hey, what are Tommy Lee and Pam Anderson up to? I'm excited for this because the actors I think can do a good job, but Lily James, I had to like really look in the photo and see, oh wait, that kind of does sort of look like Lily James, but unrecognizable. And I think they did a really good job. I think they can carry it. I'm excited to see what Hulu does. I think Solar Opposites was a Hulu show in the States and it was brought up by Star to Disney Plus. So if that's any
Oh,
indication,
okay.
I think this will also be a Star exclusive Disney Plus show. which if they do a lighter take on it will be very interesting to see how that sort of plays with the Disney Plus clientele, which is primarily children. However,
Yeah,
they've sort of pushed the envelope on Disney as well sometimes, so I'm excited to see how they can sort of cater that to the people who might watch it and stumble across it, who are just saying, "Oh, I want to watch whatever," and they're like 13 or something, you know?
yeah. I think that that line has been crossed already with Disney Plus with the Star category. If you look at like Star right now, like they've had
Mm-hmm.
like they have American Horror Story on there now. They have a lot of different things that are not really ideal for children, right? When it comes to violence, when it comes to the explicit content, things like that. That's why I think that's the whole purpose of Star. So if they do bring the Disney Plus, great. I'm sure it'll be available somewhere. I'm sure some sort of streaming service will purchase it and put it on the Canadian content. I've seen stuff from Hulu come on Amazon Prime Video in Canada. Not so much Netflix, but I wouldn't be surprised if Crave TV or Disney Plus will also be part of that. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm sure it'll be fine. You're up next, man. What's going on?
The last thing I want to talk about is Misfits. Now, I had no idea this movie existed, and YouTube just randomly said, "Hey, here's this movie," and so it's releasing in June. It's a heist movie. I'm not sure if you've seen the cast, but it's Nick Cannon, Pierce Brosnan, Tim Roth, Jamie Chung, and Pirat something. I will say his last name wrong, so I'm not going to try. But it's sort of like Fast and Furious meets Ocean 11 meets sort of Mission Impossible. Now You See Me, combined all into one, and it's just like, hey, here's all of these tropes from all of these other movies: fast cars, magic tricks, doing the impossible things like Mission Impossible. Sorry, but and let's just throw in a heist in here and let's just see what sticks. I'm a pass on this movie. I think the cast could be doing some really cool things. I really like Pierce Brosnan. Nick Cannon is really cool. Tim Roth is great as usual. Uh, I'm a nod on this movie because I think it's been done, and I think there are very select people who can do this and do it well. Not, but this is not one of them. What do you think?
He says a heist movie, right?
Yeah,
I'm in, man. Like I'm hot. Like it's just a heist movie. I don't care who's in it.
that's
And if
fair.
some sort of heist is part of it, and especially some actors trying to make a comeback. Like, come on, Nick. Like Nick Cannon has really done anything on the big screen for a very long time. Like he does a great job hosting some TV shows like The Masked Singer. He was on Wild and Out. He was
He's
formerly
still
on
on
America's
Wild Out.
Got.
He is wilding out.
Is that still going on?
Yeah, man.
I wasn't sure. I haven't watched it in a very long time. That show's great. Like no disrespect to it, but
Hmm.
I just haven't watched it in a long time.
That's fair.
America's Got Talent for a while, but I don't know. I don't know what Nick Cannon can do at all. But I like Pierce. I like Tim Roth. Jamie Chung. I'm all in. I'm I'm reading right now. So after being recruited by a group of unconventional thieves, renowned criminal Richard Pace, played by Pierce Brosnan, finds himself caught up in an elaborate gold heist that promises to have far-reaching implications on his life and the lives of countless others. The production has been completed already, directed by Rennie Harlan. No idea who that person is and what he's done, but I'm all in. I'm all in. It's a heist movie. Let's go.
Dang. All right.
Take my money. I'm all in. I will plan the perfect heist one day, and I'm only gonna learn from these movies,
This isn't this.
right?
This is not legally viable. Just want to let, if you do a heist, this is not something that the Deep Focus production people are like, hey, yeah, we condone this. This is just him speaking off the top, not involved at all. Do you, bro?
Yeah, I already know what my role is gonna be, right? Like in
Yeah.
a heist, like I already know what my part is. I just need to find myself a driver. I need to find an over like anxious person that's screaming at everyone and get their head. You know what I mean? No, I'm giving my plan away.
All
I'm
you
all
just,
in.
if you're going to heist, just take the chandelier from Tiffany's, and then go to Canada. If you don't get it, if you don't get that reference, I'm sorry. Just watch The Office.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Yeah,
That's a
just watch.
great. That's a. I'll give you props for that. That's a good reference. Good reference. All
Thank
right,
you.
man. So I'll end it off here. So the Quiet Place 2 trailer finally came out, right? So we're all pretty. I feel like we're all pretty excited for the sequel. The first one was fantastic, very intense. I did watch it at home, so it's a cool experience. Being in sort of that controlled environment, being silent and things like that. But what I want to bring up is that the second trailer really emphasized of in theater experience, watching in theaters, and really clipped in for that. So this is a very broad question. I know we've talked about this before about whether we're going back to the movie theaters or not. I'm not gonna lie, all these money, like all these like movies are making good amount of money in the theaters. Like Mortal Kombat had a nice run, Godzilla and Kong had a nice run. It clearly are people going back to the movie theaters, and we haven't heard really any sort of backlash in regards to this. So have we changed our minds about going back to the movie theater? Because I'm starting to. So I'm gonna go. So my question is, are we hot on going back to movie theaters or not? Because right now I'm still cold, but man, the ice is melting. Right, like
Yeah,
it's heating up.
yeah.
It's heating up. I'm leaning towards there. That experience. I was just talking about it with Rupi the other day. Like the VIP theater, even like we'll have the chair all the way back. We'll order some food. The VIP theater in Canada, I'm sure is available across the world, but it's a 19 plus, so no kids in that movie theater. They serve alcohol, so we get a bottle of wine, some snacks. It was really cool, and it was a cool experience. We do kind of miss that, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking more and more trying to miss that. So when some big movies start to come out, like the MCU movies and things like that, I'm very tempted to start going back to the movie theaters.
Mm-hmm.
What's your take on that so far?
I'm very hot on the idea of going back to the movie theaters. I miss it so much.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. There was even just walking in and smelling that popcorn, which I now realize they also pipe in some of that smell to get you to buy popcorn. I didn't know that, but
Oh yeah.
I miss it so much, and I think people aren't. There's no backlash because people are like, yeah, let's go to the movies. Like that was. I
Yeah,
remember in
right.
like when I was in high school, that was the thing. Like you're like, hey, let's go to the movies. There's this movie out, and you go with your homies, and you're just sitting there, and it was such a fun experience, and I miss it dearly. And I think this movie, having it geared towards the theaters, is exactly for that reason. They know that this movie will do amazing in theaters because of the immersive experience and everyone sort of being along for the ride. As good as A Quiet Place was, it was great if you're watching it with people because then you're all sort of just anxious and you're also not talking because that's what I realized because you have to be quiet in the movie. You're supposed to be quiet in a theater as well, but like people were extra quiet because they're so immersed into it, and
No one's reaching for the popcorn, and no one wants to drink a sip of the pop because the ice might
might
crackle and
rattle,
things like that.
and then they're
Yeah,
doomed.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did right. Like, and this just talking like the Avengers Endgame anniversary was a couple days ago, and just thinking about that experience, like in the movie theater when Cap is standing there by himself with a broken shield and just like right in the face Thanos and his army, and all of a sudden here like I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about it. Like the crackle and rage from sounds like,
Yeah.
"Can you hear me? Can you hear me?"
Yeah.
Then he's like, then because on your left and a little portal comes up. Whole like that is to me the greatest movie experience of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And then like going back to everything else, like I try to convince the Indian in me, try to convince myself by trying saving money and staying at home and things like that. But I am super, especially by the time this podcast comes out, I'm hoping Ruby and myself we will be booked our appointments to get vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited for that. I I might be going back to the movie theater sooner than I expected. But she's Black Widow coming out in the near
Yeah.
future.
That's a good one.
Even if I had to go by myself, like I want to overpay for popcorn. I
Yeah.
want to overpay for my pop. I want to pay $5 for like a large Coke, right? Like I
Mm-hmm.
want to pay $6 for $6 for large popcorn. I could buy like $6 buy these multi packs and have like 100 popcorn at home. But F it, watch it at home. So yeah, I just
Popcorn tastes
complete.
better scientifically. Popcorn tastes better if you overpay for it. That is a fact I just made up.
Yeah, yeah. Don't fact check it. But
Don't
it's a
fact check
fact.
it.
It's
Yeah,
legit.
it's certified.
Yeah. So clearly we're both hot on
Yeah.
going back to the movie theaters. I can't believe. Actually, I shouldn't be surprised, but I'm excited to eventually go back. But that's all we got this week. I'm excited to bring up our next episode. So for anyone who wants to know what's happening next week on Thursday's episode, we are doing our very late award show. Murad actually brought this idea up. It's pretty awesome. So hopefully next year when we're doing this will be during the award season. This is our own version called the Fundies. It definitely a Dundies ripoff. I don't care. We love The Office. So it's the Fundies where we were making up awards for the movies that we enjoy. We're hoping that this award show is for the people, by the people, and hopefully it allows you guys to pick up some on new movies that you haven't watched in the last year that might encourage you to start watching it now. But until then, catch you guys in the flippy flop.
Oh God. All right. Peace.